Hello and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. Well, this time I have two stacks here of things I want to try to share with you. One about Franklin Russell and the Secret Allens. Now, he wrote other books as well, and I just thought I'd share the titles. Searchers at the Gulf, that's the Gulf of St. Lawrence, talks about various awakenings in the spring, fish, cod, plankton, empires, sets out, herring. So there's this book, and there's one that he wrote in conjunction with a whole series. They took Canada in sections. This was the Atlantic coast. So it's an area that he visited and researched there. And it's quite a comprehensive looking at the landforms, looking at those changes, looking at various life forms. So it's called the Atlantic Coast. It's part of the Illustrated Natural History of Canada. And if you happen to live in the Maritimes, it's particularly, I think, perhaps relevant. Teeming plankton armies, codfish and others, fish and shells, birds of sea and shore, great migration, the sanctuary in the sea, the edge of the ocean. I think it has, for me, it had a lot of resonance, and so I merely wanted to let you know it exists. Now, this is a book talking about inventions a little bit in this video and how things change. Recently showed you a postcard of women taking their laundry down, and they were washing it at the stream, a brook. And then along comes electricity. And before that came, people did invent things like barrels. You could put your wash in there with the water and some suds, and you could crank it. It would rock it and shake it up, and then you could rinse it out. Those sorts of inventive things were passed by when washing machines were invented and dryers were invented, both using electricity. That came along thanks to some of the work of Edison with the electric light. Well, the same happened with The Amazing History of the Ice Business by Lawrence Pringle. Fascinating book. Oh, I just found this fascinating. And lots of pictorials. When the old ice wagon would come along, drawn by horses, or there'd be chipped ice, and big tongs. The seller of the ice had big tongs he put around that, and he could carry it into your house or up 3 flights of stairs to where you're living in some place, say in a high rise in New York. Once upon a time. There's a nice picture here. The ice was cut starting from the inner, working around, and almost by a plow-like sawing mechanism, horse-drawn. Big buildings conveyor belts, and the ice cubes were brought up and stacked, covered with sawdust. There were railroads built to get from the ice from these holding buildings to big cities like New York or Boston. And this is talking about Rockland Lake, the icebox of New York City. No, they really put together getting the ice to the river so they could ship it. The various ice tools that they had. So the number of people that were employed in that whole business. Oh, now the refrigerator, in some cases, had a top part. Here's the tongs opened up, two handles with a hook for this one, and this handle hook there. It put it in the top part. Now sometimes they were open in the front like this. Sometimes they open in the top and you put it in the top. And then that would cool the shelves below. As the ice melted, it would run down a drain into a container. And so there was some messy aspects to it. Plus you had to have somebody come in your house and bring it to you and put it in your fridge for you. And but it did the job. Of course, then people learned how to freeze vegetables and freeze other things so that they would hold their nutrients, and lots of inventions came along the way. So now there's the refrigerator with its use of electric power. Now, I want to move to looking at the oceans again, and to do that, I was thinking about the inventions that have come along. In this book, Patrick O'Brien's Treason's Harbor, which I shared with you some time ago, they had a diving bell that they could put over them. And then they'd fix a cage so that the sharks couldn't get into them. And they breathed the air that was in this bell. Then along comes William Beebe. And William Beebe, this is a fantastic book. It's by David Sheldon, naturalist and explorer, about his early life, all the things that he did, the invention of the bathysphere that could be a submersible and go down into the water. National Geographic Society. There's a seagull with its red spot on its lower jaw. They had to pump air down there. So it's quite a story. Then there was this, of course, where you weren't in the bathysphere. You had air pumped down to you. And what an experience that was. But deserts, jungles, island life, birds, wrote some amazingly, wonderfully fascinating books. William Beebe, B-E-E-B-E. David Sheldon's a great introduction to him. Then along comes Jacques Cousteau. and Frederick Dumas, who dives with him and works with him, and they perfect the scuba, which is an anachronism for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Underwater is under the U part. So self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. And we know that Sylvia Eugenie Clark used it. It was an aid to her to dive and explore, especially with sharks. Now, here's another person. The Life in the Ocean, the story of oceanographer Sylvia Earle, and she has a scuba setup. This is wonderful. I love this book by Claire Navola. I think it just was beautifully done. She got down to the ocean floor off Hawaii, 1,250 feet down, deeper than anyone had ever walked. And she's got special gear for that. But the illustrations and the writing were both done by I think a lovely here's a picture of the Earth. It shows it from one point of view, all water. So this was done by Claire Navola. Then National Geographic came out with a book that she wrote, that Sylvia wrote, My Adventures in the Deep Frontier. It's called Dive. And wearing scuba there. Here she is with a humpback whale. Now, this woman, as of this last fall, is 88 years old. And she's still active and involved in trying to protect ocean spots and places. And https // then reasons, and all one long word, reasons to be cheerful, small case, .world / Sylvia, SYLVIA dash, Earle, EARLE dash, hope dash, spots dash, ocean dash, conservation / I'll try to remember to put that in, but if I forget, you can look her up and see what she's doing now at 88. One last woman in the British Columbia area, safari beneath the sea. There's really clear, pristine water here, and the North Pacific. The Wonder World of the North Pacific by Diane Swanson. And there's a hardcover copy of it. I think it's a super book as well. Lots of fabulous shots and information, and that's the format, how it sort of looks. So, Inventions. what's next? Well, I've got something to show you next time. Until then, thanks for watching, and bye for now.